you're not alone. You're not the only person going through what you're going through. If you're finding it difficult to be an HR professional at the moment, then you are not alone. And get the help you need to reconnect with how brilliant you are before it gets too bad, before you get sick, before you whatever. Just know that you're not alone.
Hello, high achiever. Welcome to the Inside Job Journey podcast. I'm Tiana, a certified professional coach. I work with highly effective and driven people that are always striving for more, helping them define what that more is and learning what they really want. In this podcast, I want to bring you on a discovery journey where you can learn more about what's driving you to never settle.
Business coach. She owns Be Unstoppable, and she helps women become sustainable, unstoppable in HR. Welcome, Emma.
Thank you. No, thanks. It's really nice to meet you. Thanks for having me.
I'm so excited. So let's start right off with what you do and what are some of the things that you tap on for helping women become sustainable, unstoppable.
Yeah, fabulous. And I'll do my best to be succinct. And my business is called Be Unstoppable. I set that up in February 2021. So actually, this is 2 days past my 2-year anniversary. So I need to do something to celebrate that. And only in May last year did it all kind of start actually coming together, I suppose. So I knew that I wanted to work with women. I've worked in HR my whole career. I knew that I wanted to do something to help women. And that's where the sustainable unstoppability came from. That was kind of like, I'm going off on a tangent already. Look, I can tell. But in setting up the business, I recognized that I got stopped from going for the job that I really wanted, stopped from having the conversation that I really wanted to have, stopped by, what I thought people wanted from me. So I really wanted to do something where I could help other women not do that, because and be more who they really want to be in the pursuit of what they really want. So that's where the unstoppable part came from. Then I realized there's no point in being unstoppable if we're also like burning ourselves out. So I whacked the sustainable bit in there too. So that's kind of like where the business came from. And then in May last year, I hosted an event with a group of women, and it was around the well-being of HR professionals, entirely dedicated, a day entirely dedicated to the well-being of HR professionals. And we had over 600 people register for that.
Wow.
Yeah, and that was global registrations. And I kind of realized, do you know what? I kind of know what it means to be in HR. I kind of know that this thing's really, really tough that we do. And maybe there's something in this. And that's where the HR club, which is the main part of my business, came from. So that was a really long-winded way of, I'm sorry, of telling you that.
No, and I love how you connected the different parts and how you started a little bit broader, and as you were discovering where your expertise and your knowledge came in, you really defined, okay, this is where I can have the most impact.
Yes.
And
yeah,
I think that's
it's funny because I actually resisted working with women in HR for a really long time. I think when I left the profession, I was kind of really negative about it. I obviously wanted out of it. So I kind of, any association with HR, I was just really anti that. And it wasn't until someone who was similar to me, but for the teaching profession, she kind of started having real success in her niching with teachers, that she kind of said to me, why don't you try it with HR? Well, just try, just do something, try it out. And it was only when I actually started connecting with women in HR, I kind of like, I totally know what you're talking about in terms of your challenges, but also that is exactly the thing that I've overcome. So like, I'm a little further ahead than you. Why not let me help you with some of the things that have helped me kind of redefine my relationship with my career, really. So yeah, it was thanks to a friend that I kind of did start then talking to women in HR and realized that actually that I can do that kind of well.
And there are two things that stood out for me. One is that somehow you couldn't see it until someone else kind of say to you, yeah, because we, even when we are coaching or even when we are unstoppable in a way, we don't always see the full picture. So getting that external view helps you really see the impact that you could have.
Oh yeah, it's so much. Yeah, there've been several conversations that led up to me actually kind of niching with women in HR. I didn't know how I could tie with working with women in with HR, even though we're a predominantly female profession. Like that was that was not something that I could join the dots for myself. So I had there was several conversations that kind of just started nudging me towards maybe this could be a thing.
Definitely. And the second thing that you mentioned that really somehow piqued my interest was the fact that you said, I'm a little bit further in the journey and I can help them overcome the things that they are going through because I've been through it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there is so much power in that small somehow view on how things that you have overcome can become tools
Yeah.
for you and for other people to just have in the toolbox and just use as needed.
Yeah. And I think when you start a business, I don't think I'm alone in this. You kind of think, well, what makes me the person that can do this? What makes me the person that can kind of coach people or help other people? And I can't remember where I heard it from, but someone said the same thing to me, which was, you don't have to have all the answers, but the fact that you are slightly further along, like you can ease the journey, I suppose, ease the path, clear the pathway for people who are kind of wanting something different for themselves. So yeah, it kind of helps me to think of it that way as well, because it helps me to get over a lot of the I self-doubt, like inner critic. Who are you to be doing the stuff that you're doing? Because I still have all of that.
We do.
Yeah, it doesn't go away, right? It doesn't go away. But there is stuff that I have that helps people and could help people. So if I can share that, then great.
Yeah, and just stepping back to the different parts of being unstoppable, the sustainable part, and being truly yourself. Those are the other two things that really inspired me and invited me to connect with you. It's really, first of all, sustainable. We know that if you tend to want to be unstoppable, you can be over achieving, over committing, over because you have your target in mind, and it can be overwhelming sometimes. So
Definitely.
what are some of the things that you think can help make it sustainable?
So I love talking about this now because it's kind of it's a thing that I've been just created myself, but I talk about it like it's truth now, but I guess it is truth to me. that to me, there's 4 pillars of sustainable unstoppability. Connection to worth, connection to mind, connection to body, and connection to others. So, and I think the sustainable bit runs through all of that. So we have to be confident. Do we have to be confident? We have to know what it is our magic is, and be willing to kind of and be comfortable playing to that all of the time, rather than, you know, I see so many women, let alone women in HR, kind of pursuing, if I get that qualification, then I'll be relevant. If I do that, then I'll be credible. Actually, you have all of that already. So connect into that, and you know, that's the connection to worth part. Connection to mind, which is like understanding like your internal programming. So how do you relate to yourself in the world? How do you relate to, where do you see yourself in relation to other people? Getting okay with the fact that we have emotions. Like I think particularly with the women that I work with, we're dealing with raw human things all the time, and yet we've never been given the tools for actually processing the impact that has on us. So yeah, acknowledging that you are a human and therefore you feel, and then knowing what to do with those feelings, that's a big part of that connection to mind as well. Connection to body, which is like literally acknowledging that you have a body that needs things. Like I talk about it a lot, but I had a client who she kind of admitted, you know, I will wait to go to the toilet when I need the toilet when I'm in the middle of work because I'm so busy, that she's like that disconnected from her body that she's not responding to the most kind of basic of functions. And I've seen that myself. I've done that myself. And I've asked other people as well. So connection to the fact that we have a body that has needs, sleep, food, air, all of that stuff. And then connection to others, because again, we try and do things ourselves. And you know, we're all independent women and we're all strong women, and that must mean we never ask for help. But actually, we can do so much more when we do connect with people, and connect with people proper, like vulnerably. I think that's more powerful than just, oh, I'm in HR too. Okay, so what does that mean for you, and how do you feel about that, and what help do you need? That they're the 4 elements for me of that sustainable unstoppability. And like I say, I talk about it now like, oh, that's a thing, that's like in the world, that's just what it is. But to me, that's the truth.
But it is, as you were speaking, it resonates so much with me. I've been in corporate for 11 years, and I have to say that I've gone through different phases where, you know, first of all, I'm an introverted. I may have the resting beach face sometimes. So getting into HR, it's not an easy, you try to fit in and to adapt and to show up differently. Yeah. But then you understand that that's not really who you are. And then you start finding a way to show up a little bit more as yourself, and put those extra quirkiness in your interactions. And then you start seeing that there is space. It's not always visible. It's not always a direct connection that you can make. Like, yeah, I can still show up and talk about the fact that I may use my gaming headset when I'm doing working sessions,
Yeah.
These kind of things. And you start realizing that there's so much more in you than just showing up and fitting the mold that you think others want you to be, because it's not always a mold that exists.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think it's that being who you think you should be. That's the thing that I'm kind of like rebelling against in my work, is just, who is it that you really want to be, and what is it that you really want to be doing? And I think that's a much more fulfilling kind of place to being, than constantly like making decisions based on, well, at this point in my life I should be doing this, and I should have this car, and I should have this house, and I should be in this relationship. Well, does that really fit with what is meaningful to you and what you love and what makes you happy? Yeah. So yeah, pursuit of what you really want, that's what I'm talking about.
Yes, but it's so hard, as you say it. We think we know what we want,
Yeah.
and oftentimes it's not really what we want. It's what the society has decided we should want, what our parents teach us that we should want,
Yeah.
what our partners think should be good for us. And it's really stepping back from all those voices and taking time to talk to yourself
Yeah.
and say, okay, what it's really about? What is that energize you? What is that makes your heart flutter? And thinking about, yeah, it's you. It's not just what everyone else wants.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And for me, so I'm going to get really coachy now and talk about like purpose and stuff, but I recognize now that I know, what am I trying to say? My big mission is to change workplaces so that no one goes home worse than when they arrived. Because I think when you're in HR, you get to see that actually work really doesn't have good outcomes for everyone. So I really want that to kind of change, and that draw to a bigger thing than just me getting up and doing work every day. It kind of like it kind of helps me on the difficult days where it feels really hard and my self-talk is really negative, and maybe I'm tired and all of that kind of stuff. It's that kind of internal purpose that is meaningful to me, that doesn't involve anybody else. Like, no one's told me that that's what is important to me. That's like a deep knowing within me that that's what I really want to change. That can be really powerful when you actually do tap into that. And I don't think it's easy. Like, I'm on the back of nearly 10 years of kind of like self-development to get to this point. But I think when you can tap into what's really meaningful to you, then it is more fulfilling and it is more joyful, and it is, it's okay that you have tough days some days, because you've still got that bigger goal, rather than the nice house or the nice car or whatever, which is not particularly motivating. And if you've ended up in a house like me and still feel perhaps demotivated like I was, then you'll know that actually those things aren't motivating really. It's that deep thing that's important to you, that's the thing that's going to sustain you going forward.
All the work that you have done in 10 years is worth, and that's the kind of thing that I like to share with people. It's a lot of work, of course.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work. It's letting go of the fears, and not letting go, but understanding that they are there and overcoming them, and understanding that you can't be just in that spot just because of fear, and letting go of some of your self-limiting beliefs. So it requires a lot of work, but
Yeah.
the prize is that you get to be more fulfilled. You get to be more connected with who you really are.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to mention this because I laugh so much when I see your videos on LinkedIn. And that's one of those things that people often think, okay, I need to go to LinkedIn and I need to look like this and be very serious and be seen in a certain way, especially because we're usually connected with people that we work with. And so tell me a little bit more about that journey and showing up as yourself, even in a setting that people fear it's all serious and not play.
Yeah, it is meant to be all serious and that, isn't it? How did LinkedIn come about? I actually started off on Instagram. This is so ironic. I started off on Instagram because I thought it was where the cool people were. So I was like, and I started doing reels over on Instagram. But to get any real traction on Instagram, there's stories and there's your grid and there's reels and there's live. There's about 5 different things that you need to be doing on Instagram to get any kind of traction at all. And mostly I was just getting men flirting with me and like wanting to be like wanting to marry me and that. So I was like, this isn't working.
Your daddy.
I wasn't enjoying it. But I really liked the reels part of it, and that was fun to me. And I enjoyed doing like a voiceover and being sarcastic. I enjoy doing it. And then I realized that TikTok, you can do all the audio and everything, and then just download the video and do what you like with it. What made me decide to put my first TikTok on LinkedIn? I really don't know. I think I just thought I must have just thought, oh, I'll try it. And it went from there really. So and actually I think that's what attracts people to me. And it's so I was doing one the other morning where I was like laying in bed, and then I was like making a cup of tea, and I thought to myself, like my husband who goes out to work every day, and I'm sitting here doing this on in like acting to Nikki Graham, who was the audio. He must be like, oh, get a proper job. But that is genuinely what attracts people to me, I think, because I say the things that people don't think they're allowed to say. I speak truly and authentically around what it's like to be in the HR profession. I share they're just my truths. They're just things that have happened to me. I'm never making anything up. And people connect with that because a lot of the time people find them funny. So people like to be entertained, right? And B, yeah, that what I've found since doing this work is anytime you share your story, there will be someone else who sees that and takes some kind of benefit from that, because so often we think that we're alone and it's only us going through something.
Yes.
Whereas actually, if you're talking about through me talking about something, if that helps someone else realize they're not alone and actually they can go and speak to someone as well, then that's brilliant for me, because I'm helping them achieve, start their journey towards sustainably unstoppable. So the ability to show up on LinkedIn in a place that's meant to be very professional and to show up entirely as I'm not unprofessional, but I have a sense of humor, right? And I'm human, and I feel all of those things. And again, that's for me is driven by a bigger. It's bigger than me. It's helping other people, and that's at the core of me. That's why I went into HR in the first place. So it's always been there. It's just coming out in a different way now.
Yes. And just the power of impacting one person that sees your content and says, hey, that's normal then. It's not, I'm not crazy. I'm feeling the feels because it's something that it's hard or something that it's that I feel deeply, and it's something that
Yeah.
speaks to me. And I think there is so much power, and sometimes we're stopped from sharing ourselves and sharing our stories because we feel like why people should care about them. But it's that one person that can recognize what you're going through and feel relieved, or find some insights on how to manage things,
Yeah.
or just connect with you. And I think it's powerful.
It really is. And people message me and they say, you know, I look forward to your posts. I have a really tough week, and they always make me smile. And I think, well, brilliant, because I'd rather be making people smile than, you know, than not. So yeah, fantastic. If it changes, yeah, how someone feels about their week or their day at a point in time, then that's brilliant to me. That's great. You know, I'm so humbled by. I find it so incredibly humbling that people deliberately go on LinkedIn to like see my Friday posts, because I just think I'm just farting around in my living room, like I'm just doing these daft things, but people are enjoying it, and I think that's I've always liked making people laugh. I've always liked having a joke and like messing around. So you know, I found LinkedIn to be a place where I can do that with a lot of people. So lucky me, I say, lucky me.
Yeah, and we all appreciate that, because as you say, when I see one of your posts, I know that first of all I will be entertained and have a nice laugh, but I will also learn. So it's not just about having a good entertainment moment, but I know that you will share something that will really make me think. And I think the two things combined are really what makes you so interesting to people, because it's not just laughs, it's more than that. And the value that comes out of it, and the fact that you know that HR can be our job, and
Yeah,
there are days that are really like you ask yourself why I'm even still here
yeah,
doing this,
yeah,
because HRs go into HR usually because they want to help people,
yeah,
and they want to have um, help them develop, help them grow, help them with their working situation, that so that they can do their best. But sometimes we can hear things, or try to support people that have hard moments. So it can really be tough. And so
yeah.
you go in trying to have your best approach, but it's heavy on ourselves too.
Really is. And I see, and it does, it really upsets me to see so many women actually who've been in the profession, who are really good at what they do, just kind of so tired, so lonely, so, you know, starting to doubt themselves and their abilities and their worth. And I think, you know, there's no one celebrating us as a profession, because no, we don't get to talk about those impacts that we have, because a lot of the time they are confidential and very sensitive. Um, so again, to be able to celebrate the profession and show that, look, you what you're dealing with is really tough, and actually you're let down because you're not given the support to do that properly. I will say that all day long, because to me that's entirely true. um and if that helps someone realize that they're not the problem, then again, it's another good day of work done from my perspective.
And I
um
think it goes back to your 4 points the self-worth, the connection to the body and the mind, and the connection with others,
Yeah.
it all ties in very nicely, because if you don't have those, it's going to be so much harder to get through your day-to-day work. It will
Yeah.
drain you
Yeah.
to the point. But if you have those 4 pillars, that you have people to talk to, that if there is a bad day or something bad happens, it's not because you're not worth, or
Yeah.
because you did something that you shouldn't be doing.
Exactly.
And taking care of your mind and how you think about things, and of your body, I think that's a very well rounded, holistic approach to be an unstoppable, sustainable, unstoppable her.
Yeah, like I say, I think so. I've entirely made this up, and now I speak it like it's truth. So we'll go with that.
Perfect. So I don't want to take too much of your time. I think we covered so many things. It's just if you could pick one thing that our listeners could take away from this conversation, what would that be?
Just that you're not alone. You're not alone. You're not the only person going through what you're going through. If you're finding it difficult to be an HR professional at the moment, then you are not alone. And get the help you need to reconnect with how brilliant you are before it gets too bad, before you get sick, before you whatever. Just know that you're not alone.
Oh my gosh, this is so important. And I think it really is sometimes that we want to do it all on ourselves.
Yeah.
We are strong, we don't need anyone, but we truly do. So yes, take the time to understand that there are people out there that can help you, and just reach out. You don't have to, they will understand. Even if you don't talk too much, if you don't share everything, they will be there for you.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you so much again, Emma. It was such an honor to have you here and to share your story, your personality, and how you help HR women.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
This episode is over. However, you can like, subscribe, and follow for more content.